Okay, so we're going to talk today about being a great communicator. In real estate, once again, your fiduciary responsibility says I put my clients' needs, whether they're buyers or sellers, in front of my own. Now, when you're talking with them, it's very obvious if they're number one. It's very obvious if you're number one. If they can tell you're number one with you and them, then they're going to use somebody else. It's really that simple. I mean, look at your licensed fiduciary responsibility requires, right, that you put their needs in front of your own. Now, and I know everybody has great intentions and you want to help them and so forth. How do you let them know that? There's a pattern. I call it the pattern. Okay, it's an NLP pattern, neuro-linguistic programming, where you ask open-ended questions. What, when, who, where, why? Okay, how long have you lived at this address? Well, I've been there 20 years. You've been there 20 years. Good for you. So no matter what they say, so you start off with an open-ended question. You finish your sentence with a downswing. So how long have you lived at that address? Not how long have you lived at that address? It sounds like you have no authority, you're nervous, you don't know what you're talking about. So it's important to practice these, and you ask questions and you finish your sentence on a downswing. It compels people to answer. All right, when you do that, you're confident, you're competent, you're natural. It compels them to answer. No matter what they say, you've been there 12 years, good for you, approve it. Like when I ask a question like, where'd you guys move from? You know, we moved from Chicago. Wow, you moved from Chicago. Interesting. Now, you could have picked any neighborhood. Why did you pick this one? Right? So you'll develop your own ways of repeating and improving, but it's very important. Look at it. It's an extremely important pattern. If you really are concerned about making them number one, this really lets people know they're number one. You ask questions, you repeat, you approve, you ask the next question. You can do this in all areas of your life, by the way, too. Your spouse, your kids. It shows people you're listening. For me, the super ADHD brain, it forced me to listen. When I learned this pattern, it forced me to listen. I used to write them down a lot of times. I always carried a clipboard. You know, I've been doing this for a little while. It was before phones and, you know, before MLS computers. I had a clipboard and I would write everything down. And then I got into the habit of doing it, and then it became second nature. And now I can't help it. I do it all the time. All right, because I was a talker. I was a, make statements type person. You think when you get into sales, it means controlling the conversation is by doing all the talking. It's asking all the questions.